It's the internet, you're busy, let's do this. Jeff Grubb, I write for GamesBeat.com, looking at how PUBG runs on the public test server on Xbox Series X versus the Xbox One X. In this video, we're going to just show it's a pretty clear improvement. Uh, the reason it's the public test server, if you're not aware, the PUBG Corporation, the company that makes PUBG, that handles the development on that game now, just updated the game with version 9.1 that adds an unlocked frame rate mode if you choose the frame rate option inside of the game. So now if you do that, no matter what version or what console you're on, you can get an unlocked frame rate. And this has some benefits on the Xbox One X, which is what I tested. I didn't test the PS4 Pro. It's going to be similar to what the Xbox One X does. But on Xbox One X, there's some benefits. It's a slightly higher frame rate than 30, which is what it was locked at before, and that's nice. But there's also some serious drawbacks, and the Xbox Series X eliminates those. So let's get right into it. One of the first games I tested on Xbox Series X was PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. As a boomer, it is still one of my favorite Battle Royale games, but I play on PC. A big reason for that is the game runs at 30 frames per second on console, and I was disappointed that it still ran at that frame rate even with the next-gen power of the new Xbox. But since then, PUBG Corp launched an update for PUBG's public test server that finally unlocks the frame rate across all consoles. The result is that this last player standing shooter finally feels smooth and responsive on console. So PUBG runs excellent on Xbox Series X. The Battle Royale averages 60 frames per second on that console, while hitting an average frame rate of 55 on Xbox One X. And you can see here in that chart, I think that looks pretty close, right? But that's not the whole story. If you look at the chart above, you're going to assume that, okay, these things are, it's 5 frames per second. Sure, 60 is always going to be better, but 5's not that bad. Like 55 is really close to that. But yeah, like I said, it's not the whole story. First, obviously, the frame rate runs much more smoothly on Xbox Series X. It's at a near lock for 60 with only a few minor hiccups here and there. The One X is much more inconsistent, and you feel that during gameplay, which is probably the biggest problem here. And the Xbox Series X does not have that problem. The inconsistent frame rate is very noticeable, but another thing that was incredibly distracting for me was screen tearing. The Xbox One X has a ton of screen tearing when it's in the unlocked frame rate mode, and it's very distracting. And I'll show you a video of that, right now, just to kind of tell you what to look for. There's going to be, like, look here, these yellow lines that you're seeing over here in this little picture. That should tell you where there's been a recent screen tear, because this software tracks that, could see that. And you can see that sometimes they're just going to be blasting off like fireworks, like in a grand finale, just line after line after line in really quick succession. And if you think that's distracting, it's even distracting when there's no yellow lines there and you're just seeing the actual tear during the game. For me, I don't always notice screen tearing. I don't always notice that as a problem, especially when I'm like on 144 hertz on a computer. There, I don't really care so much in PC gaming when I see screen tearing, because it goes by so fast, it flashes by so quickly. It's hard to even spot it. Or if it's happening at like the very top part of the frame and like the top 10-15% of the screen, I don't notice there as well. Sometimes it's messing up HUD elements, and those are static anyhow. So if those tear, it's no big deal. And that screen tearing happens all up and down the image, but at 60 hertz and dozens of back-to-back tears right in the meaty part of the image, it's very distracting. And you can see here that it's happening a ton on the Xbox One X version. Meanwhile, the Xbox Series X doesn't have this problem at all. It's just a really great performing game on Xbox Series X now. So yeah, this is just a quick test to answer a question I had. Is the game going to run significantly better in unlocked frame rate mode on the Xbox Series X? And the answer is definitely yes. I find that the frame rate is so consistent, and you'll notice that. And really, if you plug a keyboard and mouse into your Xbox Series X, something the console supports, and play this game on there, you're going to have an experience that is very comparable to what you can get on a PC. The unlocked frame rate mode doesn't go above 60, which is, I think we could discuss that. More TVs do support 120 hertz now. Not a lot do, but some do. And you could always plug your console into a PC monitor to get higher frame rates if that's what you want. But the games have to support it, and in this case, it doesn't go above 60. And you can definitely go above 60 in PUBG on PC. Although you know, it's not the most optimized game for like a 360 hertz display or something like that, but you could definitely get 144 or even 240 hertz. Still though, at 60 frames per second 4K, this is a really nice experience. Now, I was really happy playing PUBG on console this way, compared to what it was like before. Unplayable for me at 30 frames per second. I just could not handle that. And of course, this is going to help with people doing flick shots, people trying to get the most responsive experience in terms of actually performing well in the game. You know, I don't know if this is necessarily going to turn the console version of PUBG into a game about like sniping now and a game about like long distance firefights like it is on the PC. I bet because of controller, it's mostly still going to be up close action. But you know, it's more plausible to me now that you would try to like do those long range fights, because seeing a person move, you know, seeing the updated frame every 1/60th of a second is twice as good. This is just math, people. Twice as good as seeing them move every 1/30th of a second. And when they're far away, that makes a huge difference. So, yeah, I don't think it's going to turn into a game all about snipers now on the console like it is on PC, but you know, that is going to be a more viable option now for a lot of people, I think. Okay, I'm wrapping this up. I think that's it. All right, I'm going to keep trying to do more Xbox Series X testing, but it's a very busy time of year. We just got 2 PS5s, and while I'm handling the Xbox review and Mike and Dean are focusing on the PS5, I'm going to be helping them with that stuff for sure, backing them up, trying to walk through the video stuff and have them come on to videos and talk with me about it, and you know, that's going to keep me busy. But also, like RTX cards keep coming out. 3070, I'm testing that. I'm basically taking a break from that to do this. And then Radeon, the event's coming up very soon. I have some Ryzen chips probably I'm going to have to review. And that doesn't even get into like games I want to play, let alone games I have to review and like kind of like take a look at. We'll see. We'll see. It's going to be busy. Let me know in the comments, please, if there's something you really want to see that you haven't seen yet about Xbox Series X. That helps me. It helps form like where I'm going to take my, you know, my coverage next. You know, I was already working on this, and I saw in the comments for one of my previous videos, people asking, "Hey Jeff, what about PUBG?" Because I had like a 30 frames per second clip of PUBG in my, you know, my big video 4K HDR footage and gameplay, and people, "Hey, what about the public test server? Could you do something with that?" And I was already working on that, but seeing the people say, "Oh, please do this," and seeing a big response when I said I'm working on that, and it encouraged me to get right back and finish the video so that you guys could watch it quicker. So if there is something that you think that you really want to see, and there's a lot of support and a lot of thumbs up for that, I'll see that, and I'll try to focus my time on that if I can. No promises. Okay, I'm gonna get out of here. I'm gonna leave you with the tear analysis, with the frame rate analysis as well. You can check this out, kind of see just how teary the 1X version is and just see how smooth the Series X version is. So I'll let this play us out and get us out of here. Thank you for watching, everybody. Until next time, have a good one, take care of yourself, and goodbye.